He can do what Russell Wilson has done in the NFL, which to me, and I said it when Russell was drafted, guys, he was the test case for quarterbacks under 6 feet. He opened the door for Kyler Murray.
You know, and I feel really, really good for Cliff Kingsbury because when you bring the air raid offense to the National Football League, you want to have your guy. Now he has his guy. Now he's got to go out and prove that this offense can succeed in the National Football League. So it's all come together for Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona. You got your guy. You're the head coach. Now it's on you, Cliff. Can you succeed in the NFL?
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily feel good for him, but I am. I'll tell you why. And I don't mean that negative at all.
Right.
But I'll tell you this. Look, the number one thing that you would worry about from a Cliff Kingsbury coached offense is this. Can you teach this guy pass protection and how to protect himself? You do not want to rely on his athletic ability to keep him out of harm's way. Can you teach him how to talk to the offensive lineman and upgrade the offensive line good enough to where he doesn't have to be running all around so he can go ahead and justify all those pocket passing statistics that he put up in Oklahoma? Because if you can't, then Josh Rosen's going to be sitting there going wherever he winds up. See?
All right, so here's what's interesting, right? We just talked about Murray in Oklahoma making history and Arizona making history with taking that quarterback in back-to-back years. Lincoln Riley, head coach at Oklahoma, just made history. We've never had a coach do this. So, Lincoln Riley, good luck, and get ready, Jalen Hurts. I guess we're going for a three-peat next year. Okay, for more, let's go down to Susie Colbert for this DXL interview with the #1 pick in the draft.
Kyler, when did you first believe that you could be the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft?
It's been a dream of mine since I was a kid. All the hard work. Everyone who's been in my corner has pushed me to get here. I can't thank them enough. I thank God and this is surreal.
Cliff Kingsbury first started recruiting you when you were just a sophomore in high school, and you guys always stayed in touch. What kind of a combination do you believe you can be in the NFL?
I feel we can be very dangerous. He's one of the best in the world at calling plays and the offensive mind. So for me, I can't wait to get up there and get with him. It's been a long time coming. And I hope he feels the same. So.
Well, for something we all thought was coming, man, you were on the phone for a long time. What were those calls like?
Honestly, I kind of blacked out a little bit. I can't even tell you what they were saying half the time, but it's something I'll never forget for sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Man, a long time coming, but Cliff Kingsbury got his man.
Susie, Kyler, thanks very much. By the way, Kyler's going to face his former college roommate, Baker Mayfield, Week 15, we believe, when the Cardinals take on the Browns. And here is the not-so-spectacular history of Cardinals quarterback selected in the first round. Steve Pisarkowitz, 1977. Kelly Stauffer, who, by the way, sat out a year, Mel, if I'm not mistaken, and did not want to play there. Matt Leinart, 10th overall. Josh Rosen, now we believe will be moved on. And Kyler Murray, #1 overall. So we move on from #1 to #2. The San Francisco 49ers are on the clock, and we had a historical pick for many reasons with #1. We may have another historical pick with #2. That is the man we believe is going, potentially, Nick Bosa. His father, John Bosa, 16th overall in 1987. His uncle, Eric Kuberow, 16th overall, the same slot to the same team, the Miami Dolphins in 1988. And, of course, his brother, Joey, 3rd overall a few years ago. So, ladies and gentlemen, the pick is in. Is it Bosa time by the Bay? Let's find out.
With the second pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Nick Bosa, defensive end, Ohio State.
Well, there it is, and there you see his older brother behind him there. You have to wonder if in some way, shape, or form the 49ers didn't want to resist making this pick, because it's the 4th time in 5 years they've basically taken a defensive end with their 1st overall. But this is the Bosa family. There is John with the 2 boys who, of course, now join him as #1 picks in the NFL. This is the boys playing a game in the backyard that they made up. It's called Kill the Man with the Ball. How did they ever become defensive players? We never knew. And there, of course, you see, that's the father in the middle. By the way, Mel, he still has the boy band hair. I'm just pointing that out. And there is Nick showing the inside lining of his jacket. And this is also significant because with the Nick Bosa selection, they become, on the defensive side of football, when it comes to the draft, what the Manning family is on the first side. Because Archie, Peyton, and Eli became the first family ever that had a father and 2 sons all taken in the first round of the draft. And now, ladies and gentlemen, meet the defensive Mannings, the Bosas. John in '87, Joey in 2016, and Nick in 2019. And if you're thinking, wait a minute, what about Howie Long and his 2 sons? Yeah, Chris and Kyle were first rounders. Howie was actually a second rounder out of Villanova back in 1985. But there he is. The Bosa family triumvirate is complete. And once again, for the 4th time in 5 years, the Niners go defensive end, defensive line, edge rusher in the draft. What do we think, Lewis?
Well, look, there's 2 ways to really improve your pass defense efficiency. Look, the 49ers only had 2 interceptions in 2018. You can't win that way. And they allowed 35 pass TDs. There's no corners, there's no coverage players that you would wind up that you could justify taking at the number 2 overall pick in the draft. So how do you affect the pass defense? You get guys who can rush the passer. Nick Bosa is good at that.
He certainly is, even though he had that injury that missed most of the season this year for Ohio State. So DXL takes us down to Susie, who's standing by with the latest member of the Bosa family to be drafted in the first round.
Well, Nick, one of the ultimate football families. What does this moment represent for you?
It's a new journey. I'm so excited to finally be back on a team. Can't wait to get to work, but this is all the work I've put in since I was 7 years old, and it's finally here.
Well, it seems like forever since you've been on the field. I mean, what do you want to do when you first join your teammates?
I want to get with my team. I want to kick some butt on the field. I'm so excited to go to work.
You know, we always hear about your brother, your dad, but how would you describe what your mom has meant to your journey?
I mean, words can't even explain my mom. She's been the one driving us to practice since I was 7 years old, putting my pads in my pants for me. I mean, I love her more than anything.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Susie, Nick, thanks very much. Bosa only played in 3 games this year, but he had 4 sacks, a forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, a defensive touchdown, a pass breakup. That's a lot for 3 games, Boog. This guy can play.
Well, he can absolutely play. And what you're getting with Nick Bosa, he's a professional rusher. What does that mean? He understands angles. He understands leverage. He can bend and flip his hips. We all saw Joey Bosa. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Nick Bosa has a little bit more juice and has a little bit more giddy up in his step than his brother Joey. You're going to see a guy that can come off the corner, use his hands exceptionally well, get to the quarterback, and he can finish. And even in sub package, you can reduce down, and he also plays with power and the ability to shed and make tackles. You put him at defensive end, and barring an injury, he'll get you 7 to 12 sacks for the next 7 to 10 years. That's the type of player you're getting. You don't have to teach him how to rush. He already knows how to rush. With speed, with power, Mel, he can do it with the best of them.
Yeah, and I think the key for the 49ers is pass rush. They haven't had it. DeForest Buckner stepped up with 12 sacks this year. They traded him for D Ford. Now all of a sudden you add Nick Bosa. You went from a team couldn't get after the quarterback a few years ago to now a team that's 3 pass rushers. Fred Warner, you add Quan Alexander. Now your front 7 is well fortified with Nick Bosa and a developing DeForest Buckner and D Ford. Now all of a sudden Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray and Jared Goff. Now you got the pass rushers to get after those guys.
Really, a really interesting division going forward. So this was a few years ago what we saw from Joey Bosa in 2016. He gave the hug to Commissioner, and of course, just a few moments ago, little brother got to do the exact same thing. 2 historic picks to start the 2019 draft. What's going to happen next? Stay with us.
only on the next generation GMC Sierra.
Great. Another wireless ad. So many of them are full of this complicated, tricky language about their network and offers and blah, 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 blah. Look, Sprint's going to do things differently and let you decide for yourself. They're offering a new 100% total satisfaction guarantee. Try it out and see the savings. If you don't love it, get your money back. See? Simple. Now Sprint's unlimited plan comes with one of the newest phones included for just $35 a month. So switch now.
I love you and I'm gonna take care of you.
Now go show what a kid from the South Side can do.
The Pizzone from Pizza Hut. It's meaty, cheesy, melty, and you know it's big. The Pepperoni Pizzone is back and part of the $5 lineup. 2 or more, just $5 each. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Star Trek Fleet Command. Download now. Join Khan and his crew.
So I think we're going with the family van.
A family van? Was that her choice?
Oh man, that was my choice. This thing's got reclining seats, DVD player. It's got a built-in vacuum cleaner. You ever seen my kid eat crackers?
Yeah.
See that? See how that works? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just gotta go straight for the source.
Car loans fast. From Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Welcome back to the 2019 NFL Draft, presented by Courtyard.
Glad you're with us as we are on to the third pick of the 2019 draft in the first round. There's a little rain, but those crowds don't care. They just think of that as a quick shower because they're here for the duration. The Jets are on the clock, and the Jets guys made tons of moves to prepare themselves to have flexibility here. They got their franchise quarterback Sam Darnold last year. They picked up Le'Veon Bell in free agency as well as linebacker C.J. Mosley. So what are the Jets going to do at 3? Let's check in with Roger Goodell.
With the third pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Quinnen Williams, nose tackle, Alabama.
Big Baby is off the board. His offensive line teammate at Alabama called him a 300-pound bar of soap because he's just so slippery. But this is an unbelievable rise for a guy who basically had 1 year to play for Nick Saban at Alabama. He originally committed to Auburn. In fact, many of his passwords are still Auburn related because he just doesn't want to go through the hassle of getting rid of them. And of course, his mother passed away from breast cancer in 2010, and he plays for her and thinks of her every single day. And I have to believe that Quinnen Williams is thinking about her right now as he makes the walk of his life. When he was recruited and signed by Alabama, Nick Saban wasn't that sold on Quinnen Williams. He said, wait a minute, we only got Raekwon Davis and Quinnen Williams. They both turned out to be pretty good players. Quinnen turned out to be so dadgum good. He was the 3rd overall pick after only just 1 year. But Booker, that 1 year for Quinnen Williams at Alabama was stellar.
Well, it was dominant because he came on the field and he showed you he could play in a number of positions. Scheme versatility is what he brings. He can play in a 4-3 and play over the guard, or you can put him in nose tackle, or you can put him at the 4-eye in a 3-4 defense. But what you're getting is a long, lean, versatile player. Look at him right here, over the guard, disengaged, pure power. Think of Ndamukong Suh when we think of Quinnen Williams. Big, powerful player that has quickness and strength, and he can play with both of them. I love the pick. I just wonder, though, if you're the Jets, you have Leonard Williams inside. you need a little edge pressure, but you add what I think is the best player in the draft in Quentin Williams.
Yeah, I'm sure Josh Allen, Kentucky was tempting. They obviously had a strong interest. They'd love to add Anthony Barr.
Yeah.
But now you go with the best player on your board, and that was Quentin Williams. You can make an argument he was the best player and the cleanest player in this draft. You don't have any injury concern. Yes, 1 year domination, but that's all you can do.
Yeah.
He's a third-year sophomore. This is a kid that when the production and the measurables all come together, and I say measurables, he ran 4.83 at 303 pounds at the combine. He was incredibly productive. Great kid. I talked to him a couple weeks ago up in Bristol. He said, I want to be complete. I just don't want to be a sack guy. I want to stop the run. I want to be dominant in all aspects of defensive tackle play.
And Lewis, more on that 4.83. His first 40 time was a 4.87 at 303 pounds. And people said, don't run again. He goes, no, I'm good. I want to run again. You've got to love the fire of a kid like that, because we were blown away with a 4.87, and then he tops it with a 4.83.
Yeah, this is a pick that seems to have defensive coordinator Greg Williams' fingerprints all over, because he's someone who really does believe in interior pressure. Although it's interesting because, you pointed out the fact that, look, their edge rushers, their outside linebackers aren't people who have won consistently. And it's kind of interesting that they went this route. But, look, if you can get pressure up the middle, Boog, it really does disrupt the timing and really just throws quarterbacks off. So it makes sense. I mean, he's a fantastic player.
He certainly is. And by the way, the Jets had never taken a defensive player with the previous 5 picks in the top 3. They have done that now, and Big Baby is now gangrene. So for more on what's going on with Quentin Williams, let's go down to Susie Culver. Hey, Susie.
Quentin, you've been a huge fan of the draft your whole life. You watched every one of them. What's it like to be going number 3 overall to the Jets?
Man, it's just amazing, man. I'm just ready to work now, man. I train with Leonard Williams, man. I know Leonard Williams a lot, man. So to get in there, man, with him and somebody I already have a connection with and learn from him and things like that, man, we're going to get the work done. So
you have shared that everything you do in life, you think of what would your mom think about it? And we know she passed when you were 12. Yeah, what do you want to say to her tonight?
That I did it, man. That it's just the beginning. I got a long road ahead, and I know that she's proud of me, but she don't want me to get complacent. She want me to keep going, keep working hard, and finish school and get my degree. So,
well, Jets fans certainly want to hear that, and there's a lot more for Mom or Quisha to be proud of. There's an older brother in the green room who will likely be drafted this weekend, Trey.
All right, Susie, Quentin, thanks very much. So congratulations to Quentin and the Jets. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Raiders are on the clock, the first of their 3 first-round picks they have in 2019. Of course, the Raiders experienced some very rough waters as we look at a GMC professional-grade moment. The ship be sinking most of these years. Sorry. They shipped off 2 of their biggest stars, Khalil Mack, who, by the way, went there and had a half sack less for the Bears than the entire Raiders team did in 2018. And then, of course, they shipped Amari Cooper to Dallas. They did pick up Antonio Brown for only a 3rd and a 5th round pick. So if we're ever going to look at a player that matches a need, it's the Raiders and maybe Josh Allen. The Raiders had 13 sacks as a team. To put that in perspective, as we look at the Legend Sports Bar in Las Vegas, Nevada, the 2nd worst sack total in the NFL in 2018 was 30. They had 17 fewer sacks than every other team in the NFL. Does Josh Allen make all the sense in the world here?
It absolutely does. Look, he's fallen right into their lap. Look, they addressed the inside positions on their defensive line last year with the drafting of Maurice Hurst and P.J. Hall. Right. Okay, they're not spectacular. They're not game changers, but they have Arden Key on the outside, and that's it.
Yeah.
They need a guy like Josh Allen, who quite honestly dropped in coverage last year over 50% of the time, which is, or just under 50% of the time, which is amazing to me. And he still racked the kind of totals that he racked up as far as rushing the passer. This one's easy to me. You just turn this one in.
My only concern about Josh Allen, I think he's a 3-4 outside linebacker, which is why I think the Jets were tempted to take him, which is why he dropped in coverage at Kentucky. John Gruden, my former coach, we had a guy that lined up next to me named Warren Sapp.
Yeah.
He's intrigued by that 3 technique that can hit the B-gap. So if it's not Josh Allen here at this pick, don't be surprised if it's Ed Oliver maybe at the pick, that 3 technique that can line up over the guard and hit the B-gap.
Yeah, look, Ed Oliver may have been one of the most underutilized and misused defensive players, or just players, period, in this draft. This guy was lining up as a 0 nose over and over, and you're watching the film going, Is he really lining up there? Is that what they're doing
at
to this
278
guy?
pounds?
That's right.
And was still dominant.
For him to get outside to a 3 technique, it'd be like, hey,
like going on vacation.
Free.
Yeah.
You set me free finally. I mean, yeah, that would make sense here too.
Okay, so but here's the problem with Oakland, right? Sometimes they do things that don't make sense. So do we think they'll be conventional, or do we think they'll be the Raiders?
That's a great question here. Look, you win by rushing the passer, and you win by producing explosive plays on offense. And the only way you can slow down those explosive plays is by rushing the passer. You take a big guy here. It's pretty simple.
It does seem to be simple, but again, they had that guy in Khalil Mack, and they let him go. And, you know, it's weird how sometimes we see these players, GMs, Dave Gettleman in New York, you draft a generational player like Odell Beckham, and then you just want to get a draft pick again for like a 10% chance to get that kind of player. That's the weird part about some of this we've seen this offseason.
Yeah, look, a lot of times when it comes to accumulating draft picks and building football teams, look, arrogance sometimes does creep into the psyche of guys who do it. Look, I've been there. As far as being a scout, you always think you can find the next best. There's always someone else.
I know one thing about John Gruden, guys.
Tough.
Yeah. If he's anything, he's unpredictable.
Exactly.
Listen, we had a few of those moments.
Yes, we did. Many.
So this is the first of 3 chances. We'll find out if John is traditional or unconventional. The pick is in. Here we go.
With the 4th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders select Clelin Ferrell, defensive end, Clemson.
Okay, this is interesting on a couple of levels. By the way, Clelin Ferrell is a very good player.
Yes.
He's one of 5 Clemson defensive linemen that are going to be drafted. 3 of them, in all likelihood, are going into the first round. But that Raider fan is like, wait a minute, I thought we were going to get Josh Allen. So Clelin Ferrell is a guy from Richmond, Virginia, who knows about dedication to task. His father, Cleavester, served in Vietnam. His mother served in Desert Storm. They come from a military background. He graduated in 3.5 years in December. His father, as we said, passed away in 2012. Look, he has first-round talent, but we just all thought the first edge rusher might be Josh Allen instead of Clelin Ferrell.
Well, I think I understand the pick. When you look at a pure 4-3 defensive end in Paul Gunther's defense, he fits that mold as a guy that can stop the run and put his hand down. I think Josh Allen, as we discussed, is more of that stand-up outside linebacker. So they went with the more traditional guy that can play the 6 technique and also play the 5 technique. That's what John and Mike Mayock went for.
Yeah, look, I understand, what you're talking about philosophically, Book. And look, and he's one of those guys who you're right. When you put him in a 6, when you put him in a 6-eye, he'll stand in there and battle. I just don't know if he gives you the juice that you necessarily need to take care of the passers in this division. And I'll tell you that I just don't know if you needed to pay this price for this guy. Okay, we're going to make the value argument, which is one of the things we wanted to see what Oakland would do in terms of value. Would they pay the right prices? But if he turns out to be an all-pro, nobody will care. But he has to turn out to be one of those guys who can affect the passers in this division.
Yeah, I ask people when I talk to my guys in the NFL, where do you think players will go? With Ferrell, it was anywhere between 15, 25, 15, even to 32. So this was, in the old days, what we call this? A reach.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, Ferrell now becomes the highest drafted player in the history of the common draft out of Clemson. Sammy Watkins in 2014 and Gaines Adams in 2007. Both went higher. That distinction belongs to Clelin Ferrell. And the saddest person right now is Christian Wilkins, the other Clemson defensive lineman, who said, please don't let Clelin get drafted ahead of me. Sorry, big fella, that's the way the board went down. We are just getting started. The draft is an experience you gotta see to believe.
This is the 2019 NFL Draft, presented by Courtyard.
Three, two, one.
Tonight, we're trying to pull off something damn near impossible.
The world has spoken.
No fears, no regrets. Part of the journey is the end.
Avengers Endgame is a one-of-a-kind cinematic experience.
Oh, yeah!
The mold has been broken.
This is the fight of our lives. Thank God I'm here.
Avengers Endgame. Rated PG-13. Be the first to see it tonight.
Warning, it's back. Burger King's Angry Whopper returns with flame grilled beef and the sting of jalapenos, angry sauce, and angry onions. Get the Angry Whopper with fries, drink, and 2 cookies as part of the $6 King Box, only at Burger King.
Someone is going to be the first. Someone's going to blow up the game. Someone's going to do that thing you really, really want to do. It might as well be you.
Why use Post-it Extreme Notes? Because they make your message stick, getting it said and done right the first time.
Oh, come on!
Stop the rework with Post-it Extreme Notes.
Lowe's is a proud new sponsor of the NFL Draft. We know that to be pro-ready, we have to do things right. Put in the hard work when no one's looking, and never back down from a challenge. We've stepped up our pro game too, with new pro managers, dedicated pro parking, and pro loaders on hand, so you can get more done right. Lowe's, pro ready for the new season.
PNC Bank has technology to help make banking easier. Like PNC Easy Lock, so you can easily lock your credit card when its maximum limit differs from its vertical limit. And Clover Flex, for when you need to take credit cards when no one carries cash. Or requesting a call to help get a new credit card, one that hasn't followed the family goldfish. PNC, make today the day.
Dos Equis is known for its refreshing taste and perfect balance of flavor. I love Dos Equis so much.
Weddings with Dos Equis. Keep it interessante.
I was standing, you were there, 2 worlds colliding.
I love you guys so much.
And they could never tear us apart.
Welcome back to Nashville and our continuing coverage of the 2019 draft. We are 4 picks in. The Tampa Bay Bucks are now on the clock with the 5th overall selection. And let us bring in our good friend Todd McShay from Selection Square. Todd, the board seems pretty wide open for the Bucks at this point. What do you think?
I'm still recovering from that pick. I thought Mike Mayock, the GM for the Raiders, was supposed to be the rudder for John Gruden. But they reached for Cleveland Ferrell there, and it provides potentially some opportunity here for Tampa Bay. Now, all along we've thought it's going to be one of the Devons, either Devin White from LSU, the linebacker, off-the-ball linebacker, or Devin Bush from Michigan, both speedsters, today's type of NFL linebacker. But now Josh Allen is available. And you got to remember, they transitioned from the 4-3 to the 3-4 with Todd Bowles coming in. They could use that edge rusher, but do you pass up on the leader and the playmaker at linebacker? This is a tough decision. I'm not sure that they expected to have all 3 of these players available when they came on the clock at number 5, Trey.
Absolutely, Todd. They have to love the way this has fallen in terms of what will be available to them. So as the rain continues to fall, the spirits are still high in Nashville. So we had John Gruden just picked. Since John Gruden left Tampa, it ain't been great. 10 seasons, 5 coaches. I'm not good at math, but that's 2 a coach.
Some of that John Gruden calls before he left, too.
Yeah, exactly. That's also true. Playoff appearances, 0. So the Bucks fans here inside have to be happy about the options available to them. The question now becomes, which option did they choose? Let's find out right now from Commissioner Goodell.
For Tampa Bay's pick, I'm joined by Casey Reynolds, a Make-A-Wish kid and a huge Buccaneers fan. Casey's been fighting cancer, and tonight his wish is to be granted to announce the opportunity to be granted to announce the Buccaneers' first-round pick. We hope this wish gives Casey the physical and emotional strength to face any challenges that come his way. Okay, Casey, now's the time.
With the 5th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Devin White, linebacker, LSU.
Happiness all the way around in the green room for Devin White, the first of the 2 Devins inside linebackers that may come off the board, and it is. Devin White was recruited at LSU to play a running back, but they said, no, you're going to play linebacker. Turned out to be great. He's a horseman. His horses' names are Daisy May. He also has one named Ricky Bobby. And if you ain't first, you're last. And he's the first inside linebacker off the board, so he's channeling his Ricky Bobby right now. But again, he was recruited as a running back. They said, we're going to make you a linebacker, and that turned out to be a really good idea because he became the first LSU linebacker to win the Butkus Award as the best in the business. He led the SEC with 123 tackles, Boog. This guy made plays all season long.
He's the best inside linebacker in the draft. Tampa Bay needs a linebacker with Quan Alexander going to San Francisco. And Trey, simply put, he can play sideline to sideline at 240 pounds with 4.4 speed. He's instinctual. He can be a leader. He's going to come into Todd Bowles' defense, that 3-4 scheme, and he'll be able to line up behind the defensive tackle, Vita Vea, who's going to protect him, and he won't get touched, and he'll be a linebacker like they've never had in Tampa, a guy that can run and hit at 240 pounds. Mel, when opportunity and need present themselves, and Devin White was staring right there, this is the perfect pick for Tampa.
Look, Bruce Arians has to fix Jameis Winston, and he has to become the guy that's the undisputed leader of that football team. And I think on the defensive side, Devin White will be the cornerstone of that Buccaneer defense. He brings that Ray Lewis inspirational ability, high character kid, 4.42 speed. He's like Deion Jones, former LSU Tiger. What he's become with the Atlanta Falcons, only probably a little bit better. This is a guy, a foundation piece, a guy that could be a guy who transforms that defense. And if Jameis develops, then it all comes together. If Jameis doesn't, then we're going to have struggles and Tampa continue.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that defensive coordinator Todd Bowles really does value his leadership ability. Yeah. Okay, because there's no question that their pass rush win rate for their rushers up front, other than JPP, they really didn't have it. So you could make a case for even Ed Oliver going down there, who's someone I know that they like, or Josh Allen going down there. But he needed that guy in the command and control center to kind of set the tone, just like they do on offense. But I'm telling you what, the teams that now are sitting there going, look, there's some good defensive line falling to us here.
This is Crude. Crude created this.
Which is interesting.
Just so people know, we've also made history with this pick. This is the first time in the common draft era, going back to 1967, that 4 of the first 5 picks are front 7 players. It's Kyler Murray, and what do we think? A bunch of defensive guys, Boog.
It's the best players in the draft. And also with Tampa, let's not forget this. The Gerald McCoy saga is unfolded.
Correct.
He hasn't showed up yet. Okay, so what are they going to do? Maybe they come back later on and get an inside guy, but that saga is still to be told.
Speaking sagas, the Giants have been a saga this entire offseason. This is the first of their 2 picks in the first round. You see the back pages, land of the lost. They let Landon Collins walk in free agency. They traded away Odell Beckham Jr. Dave Gettleman infamously said we didn't assign Odell to trade him, yet that's exactly what they did. Dave Gettleman has gone on to say since then, we had a culture problem. We don't have a culture problem anymore. Here's the problem they have. They haven't won a lot. Since their second Super Bowl appearance and win under Tom Coughlin in Super Bowl 46 when they took down the Patriots for the second time, 21-17. They've made 1 playoff appearance in 7 seasons. And oh, by the way, there is Dwayne Haskins, been rumored for many, many months to possibly be going to the Giants. Mel, I think you had Haskins in your last mock, right?
Yep.
Going to the Giants.
And what I did actually this morning, last night, I have a defense. I think defense is where they could go here. And I think when you look at Ed Oliver or you look at a Devin Bush. There's a linebacker, obviously, and the Josh Allen, a combo guy that they probably didn't expect to be here. Defense at 6, but then get the quarterback at 17 if they pass on Haskins.
Again, they have 6 and 17, and Dave Gettleman has said he's not going to be forced into a pick. He's going to read the board the way he sees it. And what have we always said about Dave Gettleman? When he was the GM in Carolina, he used the term hog mollies for the big guys.
Yeah.
He's always been a guy that likes the big guys up front. Will this pick at 6 be a quarterback, or will it be a hog molly for Dave Gettleman? We're about to find out. Giants fans are vocal. Let us go to Roger Goodell and find out what the Giants are doing at 6.
With the 6th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Daniel Jones, quarterback, Duke.
Mel Kiper Jr., you called it, you talked about it for the last couple of months, how much they love Daniel Jones out of Duke. And oh, by the way, just so you know, ESPN rated Daniel Jones as a 0-star recruit coming out of high school. Daniel, on behalf of us, our bad, we apologize. Daniel Jones is now the 2nd quarterback off the board. He comes from an athletic family. His sister Becca plays field hockey at Davidson, a smaller school in Carolina. Bates, his brother, also plays basketball at Davidson. His sister Ruthie also went to Duke, where she plays soccer. And now Daniel Jones with the connection through David Cutcliffe and his connection to the Manning family. This is Daniel Jones at the Manning Passing Academy. Remember, Peyton Manning, David Cutcliffe was his offensive coordinator at Tennessee. Eli Manning. David Cutcliffe was his head coach at Ole Miss. And one more time, this all seems to come to fruition as Daniel Jones now joins Eli Manning through the David Cutcliffe tree one way or another.
Well, that's the thing, Trey. I thought, and I projected in the mock this morning, Daniel Jones of the Giants at 17. You say, okay, why did Dave Gettleman take him at 6? Because they felt like, right, hey, we can't lose the guy we feel is a franchise quarterback. Lose him to the Redskins at 15, or the Bengals, or somebody trading up ahead of them at 17. So went and got him at 6. Some will call it a reach. Bottom line is Daniel Jones has a chance to be a very successful starting quarterback. The Cutcliffe factor certainly is a reason why what he's done in developing quarterbacks. 6 went on in the NFL, led by Peyton and Eli. Daniel Jones' accuracy has been questioned. I watched him, and I saw the accuracy when he was pressured be pretty good, and he was pressured a lot. That offensive line couldn't protect him against top teams like Clemson. I think when you look at his mobility, he ran for 186 yards against North Carolina. He was a good basketball player in high school. I think you look at Daniel Jones in this system, in this offense for Dave Gettleman, they didn't want to wait, and you could say all you want. They felt like we identified our guy in Daniel Jones. Chris Mara left the owners' meeting to go to the pro day of Daniel Jones. That showed they had a strong interest. Obviously, Eli, Peyton, Cutcliffe, and Daniel Jones all came together. But, again, you pass on Dwayne Haskins, you pass on Drew Lock. They felt like Dave Gettleman did, I got my quarterback, and that's what he's going to be judged on, like John Dorsey with Baker Mayfield. Yep. Dave Gettleman, 5, 7, 10 years from now, he's going to be judged on this pick.
And amazingly, this is not the first time the Giants have used a first-round pick on a Duke quarterback. In 1992, first round of the supplemental draft, they took Dave Brown out of Duke. But this year, it's all about Daniel Jones. Let's go down to Susie Culver, courtesy of DXL. Susie, the draft is unpredictable, and we just found that out.
Well, it certainly is. But, Daniel, you told me that in your visit to the Giants, you really clicked with Pat Shurmur. How so?
I don't know. I just think he impressed me with his presence, who he was, and I'm looking forward to learning from him, the whole coaching staff, Coach Shula, and I'm just excited for the opportunity to be in New York. I'm thrilled.
And, of course, your college coach, David Cutcliffe, also coached Eli. Tell us about some of those family ties.
Yeah, I was fortunate to go to Duke to play for Coach Cut, and him having the connection to Peyton and Eli, and being able to get to know them and learn from them a little bit. So I'm certainly looking forward to learning from him in New York. Congratulations. Yeah, thank you so much.
Susie, Daniel, thanks very much. By the way, there's a different connection here. Jay Billis knew Daniel. His son grew up next to Daniel. He says when he came to a basketball camp at Duke once, his right hand was broken, so he had to use his left hand, and he said left-handed, he was the best guy in the camp. So the guy had some athletic ability. But, Lewis, did they make a mistake by passing on Dwayne Haskins?
Well, I guess we'll see. Look, you know how I feel about Dwayne Haskins. Well, look, you know how I feel about Dwayne Haskins. That would have been my guy, okay? That's the guy who I've been backing all along, and the guy who I will continue to back. But look, Daniel Jones has some very redeeming qualities, okay? He is a good athlete. He is someone who can move around in the pocket. He is someone who can throw the ball short and intermediate in particular. He struggled, I thought, with his deep ball accuracy, whether leaving it short or overthrowing it, with some clean pocket situations that were disappointing. He also had, he was, quite honestly, he was bit by his wide receivers not catching a lot of catchable passes as well. So there were some things that could have made his numbers look even better. But I'll just tell you this, just overall, from an overall prospect standpoint, I would have went with Dwayne Haskins. But we'll see here. Okay. Hopefully he turns out to be a fine quarterback for them.
Mel, teams that may be looking at quarterback now, whether it's Denver or Cincinnati or Miami, how interested do you think they might be in about 20 seconds to going up and looking at Haskins here?
The key's the Redskins. I think the Redskins, Dwayne Haskins says, hey, I want to be there. They need him. They're at 15. Do they move up, or they just hope he falls right in their lap?
Yeah, Alex Smith still not recovered from that horrible broken leg. So we'll see what happens with them. We know from our own Diana Rossini, they are really in on Dwayne Haskins. We're about to find that out. We'll get to Washington and those other quarterback-needy teams in a bit. But right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the hook. Duval County is here, ladies and gentlemen.
Duval!
They know a thing or two about dealing with rain in Florida, so let's find out where they're going to go 7th overall.
With the 7th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Josh Allen, defensive end, Kentucky.
Well, we had a mea culpa for Josh Allen for Daniel Jones when he was drafted. Josh Allen was ranked as the 2,121st best prospect in his high school recruiting class. Let's just say he did a little better than that. He's now the 7th overall pick. Now, this is interesting. His uncle, Gregory Hines, was known as Duncan Hines when he played at Hampton University. His sister, Latori, was a forward at Towson. His other sister, Kyra, played at Cheney. She was a forward. And Maisha plays for the Washington Mystics from 2018 to now. And Josh went to a basketball school in Kentucky and set some records, including 17 sacks this season, Mel.
It's just a domino effect in the Raiders' move, taking Ferrell at 4, pushing Josh Allen down. You would have thought tight end T.J. Hockenson, Iowa, maybe Jawan Taylor, offensive tackle, Florida. That would have been assuming Josh Allen was gone. But with Josh Allen there, Tom Coughlin stayed true to their board, just looked the best player, didn't force the need. Josh Allen went from 7 sacks the last 2 years to 17 sacks this past season. Almost 6'5", 260 pounds, closes off the edge. When you look at what he was able to do with inside pressure, outside pressure this year, guys, he took his game from the very good level to the elite level.
He definitely can be elite, and I look forward to him getting better coaching. Right now, he's winning off pure athletic ability, and then when he gets better coaching, the ability not to take that extra step at the top of his pass rush, Jacksonville looking to put pressure on the quarterback.
Look, when you combine Josh Allen with Yannick Ngakoue, Calais Campbell, look, Calais is 32 years old. They're looking down the road. Look, Taven Bryan has to come on. For Tom Coughlin, he's sitting there going, really? Josh Allen sitting right here? When I know that we are a defensive-centric, run-centric, pass type of team, and we need to produce turnovers again, perfect for us.
By the way, in the common draft era, Kentucky has watched just 7 players come off the board in the first round. 4 of those were top 10 picks. The 5th is now Josh Allen, ready to roll. And boy, he's got to love the guys he's going to line up with on that defensive line in Jacksonville. All smiles for Josh Allen and his child with Roger Goodell. He's number 1 in Jacksonville.
Tell me something. Why is it so hard for you to kill this man?
He knew every move of mine before I made it. I'd have him right there. I'd take the shot.
I wanna be forever
be gone. Who is he?
I think I know why he's as good as you. He is you.
25 years ago, they made you from me. They chose me because there's never been anybody like me. You have all of his gifts without his pain. You made a person out of another person. Then you sent me to kill him. You made a choice to do this to me.
This thing that you're struggling with, it's fear. Embrace it and then overcome it.
All the people in the world to come after me, why would he send you?
Experience the reimagined Mazda 3.
The Pizzone from Pizza Hut. It's meaty, cheesy, melty, and you know it's big. The Pepperoni Pizzone is back and part of the $5 lineup. 2 or more, just $5 each. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
This Mother's Day, show your love with a gift from the Love and Be Loved collection by Kay. A symbol of your inseparable bond. It's where together meets forever. Now save 30% store-wide, exclusively at Kay.
It takes a lifetime of training to be the MVP of wedding season.
Want Travis Kelce to join your wedding party? Tag us in a photo of you and your fiance, tell us when and where you're getting married, and why Travis would be the perfect addition to your wedding party. And you'll be entered for a chance to have Travis Kelce as part of your I Do crew this summer.
Welcome back to the 2019 NFL Draft, presented by Courtyard.
Well, glad you're with us on a rainy night in Jacksonville. The crowd doesn't seem to care about that at all, and quite frankly, neither would they, because this is a hell of a lot of fun. We are up to the 8th pick in the first round, basically a quarter of a way through the first round. It is the Detroit Lions on the clock. The pick is in. Let's go to the commission.
With the 8th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select T.J. Hockenson, tight end, Iowa.
Well, this is indeed significant because T.J. Hockenson now joins a very select group. He is just the 4th tight end chosen in the top 10 of the draft since 1997. And amazingly, another one was a Lions pick, Eric Ebron in 2014. His hometown of Cherokee, Iowa. They moved there from Cherokee. He finished 3rd in a national softball throw. He's also a 2-time All-State basketball forward in high school. But T.J. Hockenson became the dude and one of 2 tight ends at Iowa that we might see go in the first round. And if you're saying to yourself, it sure seems like we hear a lot of these Iowa tight ends being drafted. You are correct. Since 2000, T.J. now becomes the 10th tight end taken in the draft from the University of Iowa. They know how to deal with tight ends and create tight ends in Kirk Ferentz system at Iowa. They have done a great job. So tight ends being drafted is a tradition in Iowa. So is another tradition. The Iowa Children's Hospital. They wave to the fans and the players wave to them. It's one of the great scenes at Kinnick Stadium in all of college football. There you see the kids at the Iowa Children's Hospital. And the Iowa Children's Hospital now would like to return the favor. They have a little message for the latest Hawkeye to go off the board.
From all of us here
University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital, we want to say congrats to you, TJ Hockenson, on being selected for the NFL Draft. We're so proud of you.
So they're celebrating at the hospital, and you better believe they're having a good time at Iowa City at Donnelly's Pub. Mel, this is a guy that is a basketball player who became a great football player.
He got a basketball background, nearly 6'5", 250. You talk about an athlete. You think about the Kirk Ferentz, Bill Belichick connection. You see him here on the hardwood getting it done. For a tight end, we see it. Jimmy Graham and others translates very well. You see the blocking there, and as well, getting down the field with that release, sealing the edge. He's a throwback to the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. He can block, get down the field, make the catch. But Bob Quinn, the GM, with Gronkowski, thinking about adding Jesse James. They brought him in via free agency. Now you bring in TJ Hockenson, who is a multi-dimensional threat for Matthew Stafford now. You have Kenny Galladay, you have Marvin Jones, you have Tommy Lee Lewis, you got Kerryon Johnson at running back, you had Danny Amendola in the slot. Now you get a guy who will block and help out Kerryon Johnson and be a guy that Matthew Stafford, in those clutch third down situations, red zone situations, can go to Hockenson and he will come down with the football. He really took over from Noah Fant. Noah Fant was supposed to be the guy. Nathan Stanley went to Hockenson, and he really stole the show, the tight end, away from Noah Fant. We'll have more on Noah Fant, and he could go in the first round a little bit later. He mentioned Rob Gronkowski. Do you see those kind of similarities?
No, I mean, that's being ambitious. I mean, obviously, Rob's one of the best to ever play it. But look, I will say this, though. Philosophically, how they're trying to build a football team, it makes perfect sense. Look, they have a couple high-round draft picks on this offensive line. They have tried to address the big guys up front. Kerryon Johnson, before he got hurt, was one of the bright young spots as far as running backs in the NFL. They have that taken care of. They need some more juice still at wide receiver, but they needed production out of the tight end position. Look, they only had 45 receptions out of the tight end position last year, which just isn't good enough. TJ's going to give you the run blocking, seal the edges. He's also one of those guys who is sneaky fast down the field, who can rip off some big plays.
You know, when you talk about philosophy, you have Kerryon Johnson. Now you can start to establish some physicality in the running game. Well, what happens? The safeties and the linebackers come up. You can work the middle of the field with play action pass. So this is a pick that goes with the philosophy of how you're building your team. Detroit wants to be physical. Okay, Trey Flowers up there in the philosophy. Now they want to play action and get the ball and give Matthew Stafford somebody to work the middle of the field with.
By the way, he's the Mackey Award winner, second Iowa tight end to do that, Dallas Clark being the first. So congratulations to TJ Hockenson going to the Lions. Meanwhile, one name that we haven't heard yet that we thought we might hear at this point is defensive end Montez Sweat out of Mississippi State. For more on why his name hasn't been called yet potentially, let's go to our insiders, Adam Schefter and Chris Mortensen. Guys?
Well, Trey, there are a host of issues that have followed Montez Sweat, who is regarded as one of the top players in this draft and one of the reasons he has fallen to this point. There obviously are some teams concerned about a heart condition. He's off some boards, but some teams are not overly concerned. There are character concerns as well, dating back to his time at Michigan State, but teams regard him as an elite player, but some say, one GM said he could take a quote-unquote precipitous fall.
And he actually had a terrific Senior Bowl competition in the great combine he ran. Not only those problems, I spoke to his former Mississippi State coach, defensive line coach Brian Baker, who said that somebody will make a mistake by passing on this guy, but he does have to get picked by the right team, and what he's told teams is, you can't yell at this guy, but Trey, we're back to you.
Mort, Adam, thanks very much. He did run that 4.4 140 at the Combine. The pick is in for the Buffalo Bills. Let's see where they're going.
With the 9th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Ed Oliver, defensive tackle, Houston.
Ed Oliver, a man who is very confident in his abilities and the second horseman to go in the top 10 of this draft. Much like Devin White of LSU, Ed has always been around horses. There's Caledonia. He also had a horse named Oreo. He said that horse tried to kill me 3 or 4 times. Now, Ed has always been perceived as a little bit undersized to go inside where they played him at Houston. Played at about 275, 278. Is he concerned about that? Ed said, once you deal with a 1,000-pound animal, dealing with a 300-pound human ain't no thing at all. This is one of your favorite players. in the draft, Lewis, as we see Ed Oliver going to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, look, Sean McDermott, the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, must be sitting up there going, man, this just fell right to me. One, because I need somebody to replace Kyle Williams, who's one of the best pass rushing defensive tackles in the NFL. And two, my pass rushers who I have left on this football team are getting older. Jerry Hughes is going to be 31. Lorenzo Alexander is going to be 36. So when you look at Ed Oliver, who is the guy who you start to think he reminds you of a little bit? Man, Aaron Donald, if you're watching the draft, you know I love you and you're my guy. But let's just draw some comparisons here. Look, I said he was misused at Houston, but look at what he could do as a 3 technique. Here, if they're trying to reach him front side, he beats the block, gets a tackle for a loss. Look, those are the kind of things that the 3 technique. Now, when you watch Aaron Donald here, they're going to try and reach him. He just goes, no, you know what, I'll just come backdoor, and I'll still get you for a tackle for a loss. Book, you know something about backdooring people. Here's the 3 technique. You know what this is all about. Ed Oliver can do this if you put him in those situations. Hand use. Quick hand use, get into the offensive lineman, quick swim him, get into the backfield, create disruption. Look, Aaron Donald is the master. I'm not saying Ed Oliver is at that level, but I'm saying you can get into this level. These are the kind of things that you want. And then we're talking about power. Just bull rushing somebody right back into the quarterback's lap and just affecting the throw. Now, Aaron Donald had one of the best pass rushes you will see ever, where he said, you know what, maybe I can't get to the quarterback. I'll just take you, Weston Richburg, and throw you into the quarterback and take both of you down. So I'm saying this, he has potential. He has a lot of work to do. He was misused at Houston, but they needed this profile, and it's perfect for them.
You know what I'll tell you, if you're watching Ed Oliver and the Houston tape, throw it away. I don't even count any of that tape. When you put him in the National Football League, here's what I know. You need twitchy guys at the 3 technique. Think of Warren Sapp, 285, 290-pound guy. Think of John Randall, 285, 290-pound guy that can hit the B gap. In this game, in today's game, you don't need 340-pound defensive tackles. It is the air raid. It is wide open offenses. You better have defensive tackles that can run and hit the B gap. Trey, he has the highest ceiling of any defensive lineman in this draft. Now, he also has the lowest floor. Because we don't know, we haven't seen him over the guard. So it's always a question transitioning someone from the center to the guard, but his ceiling is super high.
He also has maybe the greatest attitude out there. When he was a freshman at his high school in Houston, the starting tackle for the University of Texas was from his high school. He came back. Ed Oliver walked up to him and said, hi, I'm the guy that's going to make sure everybody forgets about who you are. That's who Ed Oliver is, and he is having a good time right now. Ed Oliver going to the Buffalo Bills. So now we go to the 10th pick in the draft, and that is the Denver Broncos. And Vic Fangio is one of the oldest head coaches in recent memory in their first full season in the NFL. Longtime defensive coordinator, has been great at that, but at the age of 61, he takes over the Broncos. And as you can see, some of those older coaches did not have great success. Since their win in Super Bowl 50, the Broncos have not had great success with quarterbacks. Hey, Trevor Siemian's above water. That's a huge win. Paxton Lynch is gone, 1-3. These are all since Super Bowl 50. The Broctagon back there, 0-4. And Case Keenum, they shipped out. He's now in Washington. He was 6-10. So you take a look, as you still see that crowd out there, which is fantastic. They picked up Joe Flacco. Well, since his Super Bowl 47 win, over the San Francisco 49ers, that got him that big contract. The numbers have not been there. And they did make the trade for Flacco, but do we think maybe Dwayne Haskins might be a direction they would go?
This is an interesting one.
It is very interesting.
Could it be, if you're really thinking long-term? Sure, you could. Look, you have a new head coach in Vic Fangio. You have time, presumably, to kind of build your program. Is he necessarily what you need right now that will affect this football team this year? No. Are there other positions that they need? Yeah, they need to solidify offensive line in particular. They need more depth there. On the defensive side of the ball, look, in Vic Fangio's defense, last year they drafted a guy in Chicago named Roquan Smith, who was fantastic. There's a guy from Michigan,
Devin Bush.
Hold on, guys.
There's a guy from Michigan who's sitting there.
Hold on. We got some news here. We have a trade.
Oh, boy.
Our first trade of the night. Remember, there were 5 trades of first-round picks going into this night. Okay. This is the first one that's happened during the draft. Pittsburgh has traded up. Adam, what more can you tell us about Pittsburgh trading up here?
Well, Trey, this is the first time the Pittsburgh Steelers have traded up for a defensive player since 2001 when they went to get Troy Polamalu. They were on the phone with the Denver Broncos all day. The Broncos didn't want to give up this pick unless they were getting back a first-round pick and another third-round pick. That first could be Pittsburgh's next year first-round pick. And Denver had done a good long look on its quarterbacks. And ultimately it believes in Joe Flacco. And it's got a lot of needs that it needs to address right now. Flacco is not one of them. The quarterback is not one of them. Pittsburgh was on the phone with the Broncos trying to get up, and guess what? Other people wanted to move up for a defensive player here, but the Pittsburgh Steelers get the deal done. We'll see who they select soon enough, but it's going to be costly, Trey. I promise you that.
All right, Adam, thanks. We'll get the details of that trade in just a little bit. So we know they have needs in certain places, but they have been consistent the last few years taking defense, not since David DeCastro on the offensive line, the guard out of Stanford, was the last offensive player they took in the first round, Boys.
Look, I'll tell you this, though. Look, Adam just said they traded up maybe to get a defensive player. What did they get hurt by this past year? Tight ends and running backs in the middle of the field in terms of pass coverage. Who's sitting there right now?
There he is.
The guy from Michigan named Devin Bush. It would make sense, wouldn't it?
It certainly would. All right, we believe the pick is in. Roger Goodell is going to tell, in about 15 seconds, whether we think it might be Devin Bush, one of many defensive players out of Ann Arbor that might go in this draft.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's some fine players. Look, Rashawn Gary's a fine player. You know, so I mean, there's a lot of guys. Chase Winovich's a fine player. We'll see.
All right, here we go. When the pick is in, let's find out where Pittsburgh is going with yet another first-round pick, looking like it's going to be a defensive player.
The Denver Broncos have traded the 10th pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers. For Pittsburgh's pick, please welcome back to the stage 1979 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Hall of Famer and Steeler legend, Joe Green.
With the 10th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Devin Bush, linebacker, Michigan.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm not sure, and that is one heck of an outfit. I'm not sure. No, that is one heck of an outfit.
I love that outfit, Devin.
Booger, that's got to be close to what you wore in your short sleeve suit. My goodness.
Why do we bring that up?
Because it was awesome. I just have to say this might be the first time we've had two Devins taken in the first 10 picks. Both inside linebackers, by the way. Devin White goes first to Tampa, and now Devin Bush, the linebacker, goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the trade. And, of course, there is a family history here. His father, Devin, was, I believe, a 20th, 25th, 26th round pick out of Florida State that went to the Atlanta Falcons. So Devin Bush now has bragging rights in the Devin Bush household of the Devin Bushes, and their relationship was not always great. At one point, Devin Bush was trying to toughen up his son. Devin Bush Jr. was 8 years old and he fumbled in the red zone. And his dad said, "You suck because of that." And Devin Bush Jr. says, "No, I don't." And he said, "Yes, people that fumble suck." The relationship has gotten better, but right now they are both first-round draft picks in the NFL.
Look, I played with Devin Bush Sr. I played with him in Atlanta in 1990s. Absolutely. That guy is a thumper. Devin Bush Jr. is all of that. This kid is fast. He is a great blitzer. He has tremendous instincts. He will come downhill, and he will absolutely just test your will as an offensive lineman. He can tackle. I love this pick. I absolutely love it. I think he is pound for pound the best player in this draft. And I know people are going to say, "You're crazy." Pound for pound, Devin Bush is the best player in this draft. He brings it. Pittsburgh Steelers, my hat's off to you. You traded up to get a guy that can make an impact for your football team. He's going to make an impact for your football team.
All right, let's go down to the interview now. It's Susie Culver standing by for this DXL moment with the second Devin Bush to go in the first round in the NFL draft.
Wow. Man, there was a lot of emotion just walking down the hall. What were you feeling, thinking?
Oh, man, it was just a whole bunch of emotions at one time. And, you know, just the relief of the stress of the draft and knowing all the hard work I put in just to get here. You know, being that small percent that even gets a chance to get drafted, you know, everything just went through my mind. And I just can't thank God enough and thank my family enough to support me through this process.
Well, you know what? It has been a family affair. Your dad was a first-round pick. He won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
How did he shape this journey?
Oh, man, that guy right there, he's special. Man, I don't know how he did it. I wish I knew, but I don't know how he did it.
You know, there was a long-awaited hug after you won a high school championship, and then another hug tonight.
Yeah.
What's that moment like?
Oh, man, it's just so special. It's just hard to describe right now in words. But, man, I love my family. I love that guy especially, and I just can't wait to be a Steeler.
Congratulations. The Steelers traded up to take you.
Thank you.
All right, there you see the hug. Susie, thanks very much. And their relationship is great now. Devin Bush Sr. was on the Michigan staff, but show us what makes Devin Bush Jr. so special.
Look, I mean, there's this running pass. There's nothing that the kid can't do. Look, all right, I played with Devin Bush when he was with the Atlanta Falcons. Not with the Rams, but I played with him when he was with the Atlanta